employment law attorney primarily, so I see a lot. I've sued law firms before on behalf of other attorneys or people on their staff. And the legal field is not like clean when it comes to discrimination.
Welcome to another dose of Empire, where we share stories to elevate and inspire. My name is Mimi, and I'll be your host for today. I am honored to introduce our next guest. She is an entrepreneur, owner of her own law firm, and a lawyer you want on your side. Please help me welcome Kelly. I think we have a lot of people who have managed to make this a mixed field, but in a grand scheme of things, or correct me if I'm wrong here, I still feel like this is a mostly male-dominated field. How was it navigating to that, would you say, as a female lawyer?
Based on my experience and also the experience of other female attorneys I know, and also because I'm a discrimination and employment law attorney primarily, so I see a lot. I've sued law firms before on behalf of other attorneys or people on their staff. And the legal field is not like clean when it comes to discrimination across different races, sex, and many other points. And it can become tricky because it is a traditionally white male dominated field, and women have been infiltrating for the good and joining different law firms and slightly changing things. And it's, even if it isn't a form of discrimination that 100% holds back women, there's a lot of little things that women feel like they have to play along with in certain ways, even if it's not outright like sexual harassment. Like it still is a boys' club to an extent, drinking scotch or whiskey with the male partners, trying to become one of the boys, going out to golf outings and different things. And it isn't necessarily totally female friendly. Like if you want to have a family or have kids, or other things like that, or even appearances. I heard a crazy story of a lawyer I came across who's much older than me, has been in the field for a long time, and a judge had in his rules you couldn't wear pants. Women weren't allowed to wear pantsuits. So she went to court, and the judge said, like, listen, like, you're gonna have to come back another day, or you need to go back and change because I don't allow pants or pantsuits. And so she went to her car, and I guess this was like maybe the 80s or early 90s, and her shirt was fairly long. She took off her pants and came back without pants to the courtroom to be in compliance with the judge's law for his courtroom. And I believe she was successful, and she later became, I think, a very respected federal judge. So it's not that bad, but there are things that happen to females and pressures on females in the workplace. And that's unfortunate, but little by little, I believe that we're changing it for the better and creating a work environment that isn't just better for females, but it's better towards families and better towards work-life balance. So you're not constantly driving yourself into the ground, and it isn't being applauded and rewarded or necessary to burn yourself out by working so hard. And a feminine touch, or some of the things that are more attributes of women, are actually like good things for cases, for clients, and for law firms.
Wow. You mentioned a few things there. I know, beautiful story, by the way. But I know that happened years ago. But what would you say some of the things you feel like female lawyers still have to be really creative on today to really merge with this mostly male culture, what would you say in this century? Would you say what is we don't know for how long this video gonna be watched over and over, so we don't know. Maybe we 3,000, they probably gonna laugh back and say, "Oh, we're not dealing with this." But as of this century, what is some of the challenges as a female lawyer you're forced to be very creative on to really merge within this particular setting?
Well, when you think of a lawyer, you think of someone that's very aggressive and like goes for the jugular and out for the kill and ruthless and ambitious. Unfortunately, if a woman goes along those lines, often she's labeled as a bitch. And I'm not afraid to be any of those things. But I also find that while a man can get away with a lot of things, and it's actually like looked at as like a plus, whether it's coming from a client, opposing counsel, or peers or your bosses, I've had to strike my own balance and touch where, while I'm not always aggressive, like sometimes if I'm softer or come across in a nicer tone or a nicer approach, I'm equally successful. Maybe it doesn't work for the boys, but I've tried to find that balance. And I think that's something that's very difficult to do, striking the balance between attributes that are traditionally thought of as being more manly, the aggressive things, and also using the softer approach, because that's equally as powerful. And it's knowing how to use these different tones or paths a way forward in your career in a case at different points strategically. It's a learning process, and but I find it works once you figured it out.
I love that. As I was listening, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, we do have a slight advantage. We can change our outfits. I know back then it was just go wear pants, but as female lawyers, you have more options, and I'm sure you can play with that as well, versus they can only wear suits. They can only wear pants. So we do have a slight advantage there.
I also say, like, another strategy that I've used at different points is I allow myself to come across as being younger. I mean, I'm not like, I'm allowing them to make the assumption that I'm passive or a younger attorney at different points strategically, because then they underestimate me, and then boom, you drop a bomb or other things, and they're surprised. And I still remember I had a big case in New York, like one of my first bigger cases, going against a huge company. They had a huge, powerful law firm. And I walk into their law firm, it's just marble and big windows, and we take a deposition, and it's a huge table. I don't know how many feet, like
15?
I have more than 15.
More than 15? Like, oh my
20,
God.
25, no, more than that. Probably closer to like 30 feet or something. It was enormous marble table, and they had a whole team of a whole bunch of people, and it was just me and my client showing up arm in arm to do this deposition that I'm defending. And they did all these little tricks, and I kept calling them out on all these tricks during the deposition. They gave him a broken chair. I moved the chair. They like tried to separate us, and I would move us closer. They tried to do different tricks that weren't allowed under the federal rules, and I would catch them. And then they tried to make the deposition last longer than the hour it was allowed under the federal procedure. And I called them out, like, no, we're not doing this, and threatened to call the judge. And when they kept insisting to go longer, I told my client, we're walking out. And we walked out, and my heart was beating so fast, because I never did anything quite like that. I didn't have approval from anyone to walk out, but I knew I was doing the right thing, and I did the right thing. And after that day, those attorneys from the other side, they respected me so much more, because they didn't see me as a young or naive female attorney. Also, I believe the lead attorney in the case went to Harvard. I didn't go to Harvard. But by the end of the whole case, I think I earned a lot of respect based on how I presented myself in the case and my client. And to me, that was a big success, and it gave me the confidence moving forward after that.
That's awesome. What gives you that drive really to fight for your clients? I mean, knowing you, Kelly, I know you know what you're doing, and I can see the passion. I experienced it. I've seen it in action, especially when you're running. What gave you that drive, especially in that moment to what gave you that drive, especially in that moment to go for it despite I mean, to me, I would probably enter the room, I would probably feel hot, nervous, and be like this. I need a break. They would probably see me sweat for sure. But what kept you motivated and really passionate to keep going for your client? What would you say is behind that drive?
Behind the drive, I call it like my mama bear energy. I don't have kids, but we all like know about like, oh, like don't mess with a mama bear sort of thing. She'll protect her young. Like that's honestly how I feel with my clients.
Yeah.
Like those are my clients. You do not mess with them. Like don't even try me. Like, and my heart goes out to my clients, what they went through, and I fight to the death. It's never happened before, but I will do that if I have to. I want to protect them and make sure that they have the best case possible and win, or win the outcome that we're hoping for. And in addition, like just through different things that I've been through, sexism or sexual harassment, or things that my friends have gone through, racial discrimination, even my brother who's Korean. And I mean, we have a multicultural family. I'm in South Florida. I have friends from all over the world, and I know their stories. So it's not just about like my one client or that one case. To me, I see like the work I'm doing is improving my family, my friends in the world, because even if you just hold one company accountable, that's one like notch in the right direction. Now that company has to change their policies, trying to make their workplace safer. Maybe not because they believe it in their heart, but because attorneys are going after their money and they don't want to lose money. So now they need to do the right thing.
That's awesome. Oh my.
I always think some of my more successful cases are when both attorneys are open-minded. So open-mindedness is a skill in itself, because, for instance, even if someone came to me today, I do an initial consultation, I need to be open-minded, number one, to what this potential client is saying, but also how is the defendant company going to respond? What are their thoughts? What if I put myself in their shoes, and when I put myself in the potential client's shoes?